and we want to change gears a little bit and talk about the ICT PRO TT Ignite Your Digital Transformation. And to do that with me is Mr. Derek Villeneuve, who is the chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber's ICT PRO TT Committee. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. Great.
So what is the ICT PRO TT Committee doing? Tell us about this initiative.
So the Chamber has a number of committees that do work on behalf of the committee and the business community. So the ICT PRO TT Committee is there to promote ICT in Trinidad. It's part of the diversification play that we need to kind of re-kickstart our economy here. So we do things like events, we do networking events, we do educational events related to the ICT sector, so leveraging technology to improve your business.
And it's being called Ignite Your Digital Transformation.
Yes.
It is a way to help our current economic situation, and what I'm reading here, it is to facilitate adapting to the new normal.
Correct.
Explain this new normal.
Well, today we're dealing in a global economy, so we're not only competing locally, we're competing against the rest of the world. We need to become more efficient, more competitive, and one way of doing that is leveraging technology where it makes sense to leverage that in your business. So we're covering a range of topics at this conference that are aimed at doing just that.
Yeah. And the Chamber's ICT PRO TT Committee will host an array of information and communication technologies seminars. Yes. At the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain. Tell us about that. Correct.
So the conference is running 2 days. We have a set of keynotes in the mornings from around 8 o'clock till 11 on both days. We have the president of Howard University as one of the keynotes, Dr. Wayne Frederick. We have a serial entrepreneur from Canada named Peter Van der Gracht, Marla Ducran, Caribbean economist from BIT, is also going to be there, as well as a gentleman named Kevin Perrick, who's the CEO of Avascent, who is a management consulting firm specializing in digital transformation, actually. So both the mornings start off with these keynotes, and then from 11 until 5 p.m., we have up to 50 breakout sessions. So we got a whole array of speakers talking on a bunch of different things. So we got, for example, social media. You could send your marketing people there to learn all about how you can leverage social media in your business. Enabling technology to sell services abroad. That's the ITES, or Internet Information Technology Enabled Services. We've got leadership track. There's a security track, which is a big topic these days as well. So there's quite there's content there for all different people in an organization. Whether you're a manager, you're an IT person, you could be in marketing, you could be a business owner. Definitely, there's content there that you should be looking at.
So is anybody invited to be part of this?
In what do you mean?
Is it an event where you need an invite, or
no? There's a fee. So we actually have a promotion running this week as well. So if you get registered before the end of the week, you can save about 40% off the registration fee, and it also includes all your meals. And then we have there's an exhibitor area, so there'll be like a cocktail at the end of the first day and then a close-up party at the end of the second day.
And people, what time does it expect it to start? What time is it expected to start?
The keynotes will kick off at 8 a.m. in the morning, both days. We expect people to kind of roll in and have breakfast between 7 and 8 a.m.
Registration information, how can people register?
Yeah, so we have a website. It's ictprott.com. Real easy. It's the name of the conference. So if you go to the website, you can get all the information on speakers. You can get information on all the sessions that are available. So you can take a look through that. There's a mobile app. Actually, once you get registered, you can download the mobile app on your iPhone or your Android phone, and you can build a schedule on there, and then see all the information on the speakers and the events.
Trinidad and Tobago seem to be moving ahead in some aspects of our economic development. How far ahead are we in technology, information communication technology?
My personal kind of view on that is that from an infrastructure perspective, we actually are doing pretty well. So in the sense that we are fairly connected either on mobile or like we have home internet or business internet, that's fairly it's good. You know, it's reliable. It's up most of the time. So that's a good thing. I think in terms of adoption of technology, we have a little ways to go. So businesses here, I think, could make more use of technology to improve how they operate. All right, so we may be lagging a little bit there, you know, versus the world leaders in those areas. And another area where we can see, and where we would like to see more uptake of technology is obviously in government. All right, so there have been inroads the last couple of years where there are a number of services that business can leverage where they can do things online that they were not able to do before, which is great. But by and large, a lot of the behind-the-scenes activities that are going on are still fairly manual. So there's a lot of work we can do there. And that work that happens in government, it does translate into promoting IT or technology generally in the country. I mean, they're the country's largest employer after all.
But there are so many people who are still afraid of putting their information online.
Yeah.
How do we deal with something like that?
I think a lot of that has to do with awareness. Definitely, as we've seen just the last couple of days or the last few weeks with Facebook, I mean, there are concerns, right, with your information and putting it online. But I think when you look at these service providers who are, from a business perspective predominantly, and we're looking at it, people like Google and Amazon and Microsoft who built their entire business now, there's whole aspects of their business that are serving customers and hosting their data. Security is extremely important to them. So one of the questions I like to ask is, you know, would you consider that your data is safer in one of those platforms versus having it on servers sitting in your business? Because really there's two things. One is your data is only as secure as the physical location where it is, right? Because if you have people access to that equipment, that's a security. There's opportunity there, right? Whereas these companies have built their entire business, they have teams of people that deal with only security. There's a lot of things that they have in place to protect your data. So that's why I say a lot of it is perception. I would argue that your data is more likely safer on a Microsoft data center than it would be sitting on a server. You know, it may be on a desk, and if you're lucky, in a dedicated server room in your business.
And that would take some convincing for especially the older folks who I know.
Yeah.
Some of them, you know, they're always so skeptical because you always think about hackers, and especially when people get spam messages in their email and Facebook, you know.
Certainly.
Anybody can hack my account and they can get my personal information.
Well, yeah, phishing is something you have to be cautious about there, where people are trying to get hold of your password. That's important to be aware that not all these emails you're getting are legit, and trying to make sure that you don't accidentally click on a link and open it up and type in your password for somebody else to leverage. But we have seen a lot of uptake on the cloud. Like my business in Trinidad, we're a Microsoft partner, and we support the whole Microsoft cloud stack. So we're seeing a lot more organizations here start to move their on-premise or moving their on-premise servers and what have you, technology up into the cloud.
So taking into consideration security and that kind of thing and people's concerns, this conference is aimed at, you know, speaking with businesses and that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's aimed at trying to educate people in terms of those different areas that, you know, to make them aware. So what's available out there in a cloud environment. Some things that people may be aware of, but this is a constantly changing environment. IT is very dynamic, as we all know. So the idea is for businesses to come and educate themselves about some of the opportunities that are available, and then kind of go back and take those things and incorporate them into their business.
So this event is taking place on May 5th and 16th.
Yes.
People want to see results. So, you know, you have a conference, you tell people what to do. Some people may take the information and go and actually use it, others wouldn't. How would you encourage people to, you know, implement the things that they have learned?
Couple things. One is the conference is not just for the IT people, right? Which is, you think of a technology conference, and what happens in a lot of cases is senior managers or maybe business owners saying, well, it's an IT thing, so let's send the IT folks. Definitely they should be there. But it's also for those managers and the business leaders or owners, people in your marketing department who should be leveraging social media and technology. It's not just an IT problem, right? So when you take these ideas back, it's really difficult to implement those in your business if it's just driven out of the IT department. It really needs to be driven from the operational side of your business. So that's the managers, that's the owners, the CEOs or executives that need to be championing those operational improvements. And it may be that IT is executing them, but they have to be done in line with some sort of business imperative.
Yeah, that's where the communication comes in.
Correct.
And I want to ask you about training for people in Trinidad and Tobago. Do you think we properly train people in IT?
There's a lot of training available, and when you say properly, the thing is IT is a very broad space. So I think we have a lot of definitely educated people in that space. I mean, there's a lot of graduates here from UE or from UTT that have pursued specialties in IT. But when it gets into some of the specialty areas, it can become a little more challenging. So that's where businesses, it's a little harder, particularly for smaller organizations. So you need to have a training budget. It's difficult in that type of environment to bring these people up. And in some, like even when you just look at, for example, custom development, there's so many different areas. And when you're hiring a developer, they may have a base, but they may not know specifically the technology or whatever your business is working with. So that's where the gaps are. And there's a program, a government program in Trinidad right now where they're trying to promote this technology-enabled services. For example, it's called the Global Services Program. And that whole program is built around training and trying to bridge the gap between where we are in terms of knowledge and where we need to be in some of these areas to be competitive and sell these services abroad, export our expertise per se.
And they also have the initiative where they're putting internet, Wi-Fi on the buses and all of those things. So those things can help.
Absolutely.
And I have two nephews who are like 3 and 6, and they already using the iPads and YouTubing.
It's a different world today.
Whoa, yeah. So people are more technologically inclined these days. So this conference is expected to help businesses develop their technology. It is taking place on May 15th and May 16th at Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain. Can you give us the information one more time on what we can expect and how can we register?
So you can register on ICTProTT.com. What you can expect is 2 days of intense technology content on how you can improve your business using digital technologies. So we have 8 different tracks that include things like leadership, social media, security, there's business apps. So there's quite a range of stuff. We start each day with 3 keynotes or a panel. So that runs for about 2.5 hours, and then there are 50 sessions that you can choose from in all of those 8 tracks. So you're not going to be able to see everything that's there. So you might want to bring a couple of people with you, but you can pick your area specialty. So if you want to do social media, you can do 8 different sessions on just social media over those 2 days, and then maybe pick up a couple of leadership track content.
So a lot to look forward to. And for more information, just remember, if you want to be part of this conference, you can check out the website, ICTProTT.com. Thank you very much, Mr. Derek Villeneuve.
That's good.
For joining us. He is the chairman of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber's ICT Pro TT committee, for telling us about that conference which is coming up.